and that should, in theory, be live. What have I not got the screen there? There we go. Yeah, that looks reasonably okay, I think, although my head's out of the shot. My big brown Swede. Evening everyone, Mike here, Mike's Unboxing, Reviews and How To, and this is our Saturday evening stream. It is currently, well, it is going to be the 12th of June 2021. Hopefully you're all okay. Yeah, I think I'm way out of the screen. Sorry, Kath, can you adjust a little bit, please? There we go. We'll stand up straight, sit up straight. Yeah, I think that's okay. Right, sorry to leave you in the lurch last week. I was feeling like absolute rubbish. Still got a little bit of a cold about me, a little bit of catarrh and kind of a little bit congested still. Coughing up the occasional furball, but other than that, hopefully, yeah, on the mend. So getting there. Thank you all for bearing with. Sadly, you've had to put up with pre-recorded videos all this week when I've not been filming. There has been a few things I've attempted to do, but yeah, they turned out to be absolute nonsense because my head was all just, you know the deal. So anyway, hopefully you're all okay. Hopefully you're all not too warm. It is damn hot here right now, which is probably not the greatest of ideas to be stuck in a tiny little room with studio lights on in front of a hot CPU, laptop, keyboard, etc, etc, but we do it anyway.
And you've got your legs out.
And I've got my legs out. A little bit. You might be able to see that. Is the quality coming through okay? It looks a bit weird on the screen. Are we fuzzy? Fuzzy logic? What's the auto setting? 1080p? Yeah, that appears to be working, I think. I can never tell. We've got a weird setup tonight because we're using the normal monitor which I use to actually monitor what is going on, which is currently monitoring what is going on this motherboard. So for those of you that are not sure what the hell's going on, join the club. You're in good company because I haven't got a clue either. But what we're trying to do tonight is the real meat and potatoes of this particular stream tonight. We've got a motherboard here. This is a MSI, this is the B450-A Pro Max. Supports USB BIOS flashback, which you can flashback your BIOS using a USB stick, somewhat similar to this particular stick. And if you've got a CPU which isn't compatible, or you're having problems with the system, whatever the case may be, and you need to change your BIOS, then that is the method of doing it. So you don't need to have a CPU, don't need to have memory, literally just need the motherboard, power supply, USB stick. That is essentially it. So what we want to find out tonight is a couple of things. The first one is, can we take an existing modern new BIOS and actually downgrade that BIOS to a previous older version, which for a lot of people you probably don't want to do, but you might be able to do. And we've got a super chat. Thank you very much for the super chat. That is from Ugly Bob, £5, and he says, Flash, yes, we will be having lots of flashing tonight. Flashing lights, flashing BIOSes, and me getting flashes of red where I'm totally sunburnt. Thank you very much, Bob. Appreciate that. Yes. Is that going to work properly? Everything's not working properly these days. I blame something other than myself or Kath.
Oh.
Yeah, Kath's not getting the blame this time. So what we're going to try and achieve, or at least validate, or at least on this board anyway, is can we downgrade the BIOS? Which again, some people may want to do for some reason or other, maybe BIOS incompatibility with certain RAM, processors, graphics cards, or maybe it's just introduced instability in your system, which it can happen. BIOS updates generally, probably 99% of the time, are actually a good thing, but sometimes, much like Windows updates, you do a BIOS update and it actually makes things worse than they were previously. Like perhaps you get an issue with the USB which you didn't have previously. Maybe your Wi-Fi adapter doesn't work, or those kinds of things, Bluetooth, whatever it may be. So can we downgrade the BIOS is the primary question. The second one, which is possibly the more relevant one for a lot of people, is if your BIOS gets stopped midway. So normally a BIOS flash will take somewhere in the region of about 4 to 5 minutes to successfully complete. That's the reading, the programming, and then the reboot. If for some reason you had a power outage, or little Johnny comes along and accidentally turns off the power, whatever the problem is, maybe you live in a country where your power system isn't the greatest and you occasionally do get power outages or anything like that which could disrupt the power supply. Even sometimes if you've got a power supply such as this one, which is an older one, which maybe isn't the most reliable, potentially you could have uneven voltages, that sort of thing could introduce instability in the system overall, and when you're flashing a BIOS, it's not a good thing. So I want to find out if the power is taken out of the system during a BIOS flash, will you be able to recover it by trying to go through the flash system again? Now this isn't going to be a definitive answer across all motherboards on the market, because from what I can tell, they all have their own sort of implementations of the chips which actually perform this process. Much like they all have their individual BIOSes, they have their various USB flash kind of software or firmware or whatever. So don't take this as a definitive answer. It is more of a kind of like a proof of concept to see if it actually is a thing. If it does work out, which I'm kind of 50-50, I'm thinking it probably will work, but I'm not 100%. So I'm using a board which currently at the moment isn't got any use for, so I was going to just sell it on at a ridiculous price. But I figured actually this is something I do need to check. People are interested in it. I do get asked it almost on a daily basis, so it's going to be a good thing to actually know for sure, at least with this board, whether it's a thing. And maybe if it does work out satisfactorily, or it actually works after we do all this, then I might try it with some of my more expensive boards, some of the more modern boards, and see if the same is true. Hopefully it will be. My theory is that the chip on there runs independently of the BIOS, which is why normally if you go into MFlash or any of the other type of flashing utilities, QFlash on, Gigabyte, that sort of thing, normally when you go into the flash-in system, the system reboots. So it doesn't appear that the flashing kind of subsystem is a main part of the BIOS. So my theory is if the BIOS gets corrupted in some way when you're flashing it, or erasing it, installing it, whatever, the QFlash system should still remain intact. At least that is what I'm hoping for.
Can you see comments?
I can't, no. I can a little bit, I think. Sorry, Kath just said, can I see comments? So that's it. Yes, I can see comments. So we'll have a quick drill through of what components we're using here so you can get an idea of what we're doing. Then when I'm finished doing that, we'll have a quick hello, say hello to some of you guys that are tuning in on this rather warm evening here in the UK. And then we'll get into it and see what we can actually do, see what we can achieve, and just kind of work through the process and see how it goes. Obviously, if there's any questions regarding this, do flag them up in the comments. If I don't get them, Kath will get them and then relay them to me. And we'll have a quick look later to see what is going on. This, again, is going to be on a board which supports USB flashback. If you have a motherboard which does not support USB flashback and you have to flash the BIOS from within the BIOS, that is a very, very different matter, and I'm pretty confident if you manage to screw that up, you are buggered, literally. That is not good. Thank you, George. So, components we're going to be using, the cooler, which actually if I switch over to the other camera, sorry, there we go. You've got audio now? Audio back? Let me know in the comments if the audio is back. It should be back. Yeah, okay, excellent. So, sorry, just to reiterate, so components we're using, we've got the Antec A30 cooler, which was sent to us by Outlaw Fett. Thank you very much for that one. Reason we're using that is because it's got this really nice clip on the top. Nice and easy to unclip the cooler, so we don't have to get screwdrivers and all that kind of stuff out, which is really handy. It has got a wobbly sticker.
What board is it?
The motherboard is the B450-A Pro Max. Over there. We're using the box as a bridge or something to actually build on. RAM wise, we've got the Klevv CRAS RGB, DDR4 3600. We're using it in the non-XMP mode because this processor is a Ryzen 5 3400G, which probably see up there. And the BIOS that we're currently on for this particular board is version MC. Now they put a 1 on the end for some reason, don't know why they do that, but the version is MC. So it started off with version M0, went all the way up to, I think it was M6, then it went MA, MB, MC, D, I think there's an E as well, but anyway, you can see the date on there. So that BIOS was from the 9th of the 12th, 2020, so towards the end of 2020. Weren't things very different back then? As you can see, CPU speed is 3.7 GHz, DDR speed is defaulted to 2666, and there's the temps, etc. So you can see it's all working. That is the board, processor, etc. So there's going to be no attempts to do any skullduggery. Power supply wise, crappy little power supply, which I've had for donkeys. Some of you have probably been watching the channel. I've had this for about 5 or 6 years now. This power supply has been with us a long time. All we're using power supply wise is the 4-pin EPS connector in this top corner. Don't need more than that. If you've got an option for 4 or 8, 4 is absolutely fine, especially on lower end processors. And on this side we're using the standard 24-pin, the ATX connector, and fortunately on this board we've also got the diagnostic D-LED LEDs, so we can see what's going on. So should anything go tits up, then yeah, hopefully we got it covered. So I think that is pretty much it for introducing the parts and kind of giving you guys an overview of what we're actually planning to achieve this evening. Hopefully it'll go well, you never know. So let's go back to the other camera. Let's put that one down for a moment. Let's say a quick hello to some of you guys that are in the chat, which are on this lovely evening in the UK. Why? Why would you not be at a barbecue or drinking heavily somewhere? Although we do not.
Back from doing that.
Oh, nice one, Pierre. There we go. So who we got with us? I have to scroll all the way back up. Do apologise for this, but it's rude not to say hello to people. So we've got Ugly Bob with us. Jad 2016 says that's my brother's motherboard in the thumbnail. Your poor brother. Hopefully this may be useful for you. Ricardo's with us. Says hi everybody. Clayton X, or I'm not even sure what that name is, but hello. Patrick LaBelle, hello all. Probably missed the stream. It's a sunny afternoon over here, but I will catch it later. No worries. Enjoy the video on demand. Paul Bakewell says good evening to everybody. And who else we got? Aletta says hello dear morals. We don't have any morals here. We're well out of morals. I think she probably meant to put mortals. You might need to get that new keyboard quicker than you thought. Aletta says USB BIOS flashing. Interesting, I tried flashing the BIOS once. It told me to put my top back on. It may well do the same to me, Aletta. You never know. Nick Barnes says, evening all from Humberside. Hope you're well, or in Mike's case, feeling better. Yeah, a little bit better, still a little bit nasal, but yeah. We move on. We move on. Captain Measy Venture says, Mike's back. Yep, and my front is as well. You'll be seeing both of those things, hopefully. Sitting at Sith, how are you feeling? Hello, so you're going to break your motherboard to test the reflash. Yeah, that is essentially what the plan is, to deliberately try to break a motherboard during the update cycle. Again, I'm optimistic, but I'm also prepared for failure, which I think is probably a pragmatic way of going about it. I'm not 100% that it's going to work, but everything that I kind of know, the way that motherboards work and my understanding of how motherboards work, kind of tells me that it's going to be fine. But there's a lot of people who do ask the question, and I don't know for sure. I really don't. It's not as if I've tried it already. I've said that I'll do it. I kept on threatening to do it, so I figured, well, what else do we talk about? There's still no GPUs. The end isn't possibly in sight, but we can't keep on making a YouTube channel out of things which may happen. We've got to concentrate on things which actually do happen. So actually that's something that we're planning to kind of implement. Kath and I were talking about it a little bit earlier today, where we've almost lost track of what the channel was always about. The channel was always about doing kind of helpful tutorials and finding fixes, looking at bugs, that kind of stuff. And then we started doing reviews as well. And it seems recently the kind of the review side of it is taken a kind of more of emphasis. And I'm not entirely sure if that's the way that we want to take it.
More 50-50.
Maybe 50-50 more so. Possibly even more on the side of helpful fixes, which I actually get more enjoyment out of personally. I love reviewing stuff, I love looking at stuff, but it gets to the point where you think, how many more wireless earbuds can I look at? It is getting to that point. So actually working out why things don't work the way they're meant to, for me, is kind of a little bit more rewarding, I guess that would be. Anyway, we'll see what you guys think about that, wherever you want, wherever you're happy with the way things are at the moment, where every now and then we just have a splurge on reviews and then we don't do any helpful stuff, and then we do a load of helpful stuff and then a couple of reviews. It is pretty random, obviously, depending on what we get sent, and we are getting to the point now where there's a lot more companies reaching out to us and saying, do you want to look at this, do you want to look at that? And it's hard to say no to it, it really is, because it's nice to get stuff to take a look at. But also as well, we've got to be mindful that, do you want to see a constant kind of deluge of stuff being thrown at you all the time? I don't know. We'll work that out sooner or later. Cosmic Space Muffin says, evening all. And we've got Blake with us as well. I was just about to ask what I miss, then it loaded up and I realised nothing. Bonus. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Trooper C's with us, says, loving these tunes. Thank you very much, Trooper C. Cosmic Space Muffin says, yes, you can reflash BIOS. If it is no good, ask me how I know. Lol. Well, that gives me a little bit of hope. Matthew Barry says, heatwave, lol. It is a bit of a heatwave. Ugly Bob says, check out the tan. Yeah, it's getting a little bit darker. After sun, yeah. Could do with some coconut oil right now. Bob says you got some OSD on the screen too. Oh yeah. Pro12345 says, did you hear about Ericsson? Yes, very sad. Not sure what's actually happened. I did look into it a little bit. I didn't follow the football, to be honest with you, so it was one of those things which somebody on Discord mentioned, and it was like, oh, bloody hell, wow. So, yeah, not too sure. Hopefully it all works out for the best. Fingers crossed. Richard says, caught a few minutes of Kerry Holzman's stream the other day. He had a cold too. What have you two been up to, Mike? Yeah, we've been spreading viruses. That's what we've been doing.
Can't catch a virus.
Although Kerry would deny it. Technically, you can't catch a virus. You can transmit germs, but you can't transmit a virus. A little bit of knowledge for you all there. Wild Bill says, hello, Kath. Hey, what about me? Sky Stalker as well.
Yeah, you've got that on there, like.
I've got what?
Your volume thing.
Oh, yeah, of course, the bloody camera's got the on-screen display. I turned it on the other day because I was filming alone because Kath was doing something. Yeah, I didn't turn it off. I might have to turn it off in a minute. I would get Kath to do it, but I don't know if it's possible. Neil Longman says, and Mickey Early says, good all.
George is doing crushed ice.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry, everyone, that's the ice dispenser.
Did ask first.
So, Ghost Adder's in this as well, Markovsky, Mark Berry, Ugly Bob, obviously. It says it's rather moist this evening.
It's quite fresh air, isn't it?
It's not bad. Yeah, we've got a little bit of a breeze coming through, so it's all right.
And it's quite a cool breeze, not?
Where are we? Who else have we got? Aletta, Neil, blah, blah, blah. Pierre Place has just got home from a barbecue at Mum's. Won't lie, little drunk, might pass out watching. You've knocked yourself out. Just let the ads run.
Just click on them a few times.
Don't drink, kids, no. drink is bad. O'Reilly says, you're a bit red on the head, Mike. That a new form of human RGB? Yes. I've got it all covered. So I've got red head, green nose, and blue RGB fan. Captain Meese Adventures, this channel has become a place for Mike to sell his special things to pay for his world domination. Yes, Mike's unboxing brand of beans on toast. That is going to be the next thing we have. That'd be quite nice. The same one, so Predator's with us says, yeah, but Kerry's would only be an Intel variant called, yes it would, yeah. Mine would definitely be the Texan variant. Right, okay. YouTube Premium lol. Oh, that's even better. Right, okay, I think that's pretty much everything said that I need to say, so let us begin. So the first thing we're going to need to do is to actually get the BIOS. So, on Kath, go on.
1 second. Mark Offski picked up a nice bit of kit that you would like. It's a Sabrent USB-C dual NVMe enclosure. Offline cloning.
I have looked at offline cloning for NVMe drives, and in the moment they're still prohibitively expensive for how much you'd use them. So I think some of the kind of standalone ones are about £100 at the moment, which I think is a little bit rich for the amount of use that you get. And also you have to make sure that the drive that you're cloning from and to is smaller and larger. So you don't, at the moment, they don't have the facility to actually flash. If you've got like a 2 terabyte drive, but you want to put in a 1 terabyte, but you're only using like 500 megabytes or 500 gig or whatever, you can't shrink the partition down and then transfer it to the smaller drive, which is what was a benefit of the hard disk and SSD ones, because you could actually change the size of the kind of the primary partition, and it would kind of think that it was a smaller drive, but that doesn't seem to be the case at the moment with NVMe. Hopefully it will be. That'll be useful, but yeah. I'm interested to check one out. So let's take a look at this BIOS flash. So we're going to stick the USB into the laptop, and I'm going to make it so that you chaps and chapesses can actually see what is going on here. I think so. If I press number 4, no, not number 4, because that is that camera over there. Which one's a desktop? Windows Desktop, number 3. There we go. That should be the Windows Desktop. Is that Windows Desktop? I'll look aimlessly in the camera at the moment. Yeah. Yay! There we go. Windows Desktop. So at the moment, as you can see, there's an MSI.ROM on there, so that is a BIOS file. So what we're going to need to do is go to our USB drive. You've probably all seen this before, but we're going to do it anyway for those that may be watching this video on demand, trying to get a little bit of sense. Good luck with that. So we want to do format and capacity. We'll leave that as is. File system, FAT32. It has to be FAT32. Don't use any other FAT system. You could use probably FAT16, but FAT32 is what you'd want to be aiming for. Your allocation size, set the default. And if there's anything written in here, such as let's unbox it. No, you can't put more than that. So if there's anything in the volume label, get rid of it and then click on start. It'll say it's going to erase all the data, yada yada. So you can go ahead with that, and once it's done, you've got format complete. So the next part of this is you're going to want to see, well, you're going to need to download the BIOS. So let's go into that one and find the motherboard. So find your motherboard. So this one's B450-A Pro Max. So one thing you probably want to check, depending on what processor you're looking at, is go into support and then look for compatibility, because there's no point going backwards on a BIOS if it's not going to support your processor. So we're using a Ryzen 5 3400G. Well, actually, technically it's a 3400G Pro. I think it's the same thing. Let's have a look. Pro. Don't think they actually list it separately. Where are we? 3400G. Yeah, so they don't appear to have a Pro version. Oh, there we go. So that's the Pro version there. So Pro 3400G. They've just called it something slightly different, that's all. So that particular processor works from BIOS version 7B86VM0.zip. So that's the initial BIOS release. So we could, if we wanted to, we could go all the way back to the beginning. And if we go back to the support tab, go into BIOS, we look at the BIOSes that are available. So we've got MD, MC is the one we're currently on. So we could go forward one, but we'll choose not to at the moment. So we've got MB, MA, so that's new audio chipset. So as a proof of concept, let me know in the comments, do you think I should go back to M0, which is the initial one? Or should we just go back one just to prove that it will do it? Because I think most people are probably going to want to go back just one level anyway. But let me know in the comments what you think.
Mark says it was £99 and you can use it as a portable twin storage when not cleaning and it's a tool free.
Might have to take a look at one of those. So what are they saying in the comments, Kath? Are they saying go back to the beginning?
Nothing yet. Just one.
Just one. I think just one is the more sensible thing and most likely for people to actually want to do that. So we're currently on BIOS version MC1, which is this one here. So let's go back to MA. So we're not going all the way back, but we're going a little bit back.
Somebody said do a middle one,
So let's try that. So we're going to download this to the desktop. And that's done, so let's minimize that. So we can close this now and extract our file. Most of the time you don't need anything like WinZip or WinRAR. You generally can just use the built-in Windows 10 file management system. So inside here is our drive, our file. So we've got a text file. I'd imagine there's going to be no use whatsoever. No, it just tells you what is on there rather than actually any instructions. So there is our BIOS file, MA0. So what we need to do now is go to View and make sure that file name extensions and hidden items are shown, which they are. So now we can go ahead and we can rename this file. So we'll delete everything that's there, shift lock on, MSI, full stop, ROM for ROM. And we'll get a message now saying if you change your file name extension, the file might become unusable. Are you sure you want to change it? Well, yes we are, because that is something which MSI have stipulated, so we have to do that. So we'll click on yes. And now what we can do is right click and we can choose, we can right click. Where's Sem2 gone? Oh well. We'll just drag it into the USB stick. So drag it into the USB drive, copy it across, and if we just double check the drive, there we go, msi.rom. So now we can eject that drive, or just pull it out the drive. Works for me. So now we can go ahead and do our bit of BIOS flashing. Let's go back to number 2 there. Are we on number 2? Yes we are. Awesome stuff. Change that, okay. So let's turn off this sack of spanners. Easiest way of doing that is to just unplug it because it's not really doing anything. And we can get rid of the CPU. Gently unlatch that. And as you can see, carbon fiber or carbon thermal pad. So we don't need that for now. Try not to get greasy fingers all over it. And we'll take out a round stick. And we will also remove the CPU as well.
Matthew Day says for another test, flashback the same version and see if the behaviour is different.
That's not a bad idea. So where did I put my, there's my USB stick. So the USB stick has to go into motherboard, into the flashback port, which is this one down here, I think. Can't really see that now. It's the bottom one.
6-inch rich motherboard.
I'm probably
You haven't started that yet.
I've not started bricking the board yet. So if we look at the overhead, that one there. Is that changed?
Careful what you're doing with that.
Okay. Cool, there's a bit of a delay on there. So there is the, that's basically what is on the board. So we've got no RAM, no CPU. We've got our ATX connector. And we've got our EPS connector up in this top corner.
It's brown.
It is a brown board. And on the back here, you can probably just about see, I don't know if there's enough light for you to actually see that, whether it's too close a focus distance on that. Awesome. So you see the USBs in there in the lower slot, and we got the USB doodah on there. So in theory now, all we need to do is to press and hold this button here very briefly. So actually before I do that, I'm going to stick that down on the board. Stay. I'm going to plug in the power cord again. Let's try not to electrify myself.
I think I'll give you a tenner for it after this.
So power's on. There's no power switch on this power supply. So all we're going to do is press and hold the button here for about 2 seconds, then release. 1, 2, and release. And that appears to have done, oh, there we go. There was a bit of a delay on that one. So the fan's kicked in now. Our CPU light is on. And you can probably just about pick out the BIOS flashed on. So that's doing the flash at the moment. We're looking for that BIOS flash LED to change speed, which it may have done already. I'm not entirely sure if it did or not. I should have kept an eye on that to begin with. But essentially, we're waiting for that to change speed. So this should take probably about 5 minutes, which is probably be a very, very long wait. But has it changed or not? We've still got the CPU LED on at the moment, which you wouldn't normally have, I don't think. Oh, sorry, that's a bit low. Yeah, so this is the kind of nerve-wracking time. So in theory at the moment, it's reading the USB stick and getting ready to do the flash. So I'm not entirely sure if it will take an older BIOS. It might just flash, and there might be something built into the kind of the firmware which says, no, this is, actually, is that flashing faster now, or is that just my eyes? That looks like it's flashing faster. Let me know in the comments, is that flashing quicker now, or not? Let's have a look what everyone says in the chat. Something funny by the sound of it, because Kath's laughing. Rip motherboard, boom, Kath's bang, no, Kath. No, you won't be able to see me. Same speed, I think, says Ugly Bob. So let's we'll leave that going for a bit. We're looking essentially for the motherboard to either speed up a little bit there, and we're looking for these LEDs to start changing. Maybe turn off the fan, turn off on the PSU. I wonder if I can get an angle there where we can get it all in at the same time.
Do you want me to hold it or anything?
Yeah, it might be, actually, I don't know if that's going to be visible from underneath there. That is flashing quicker now. And if somebody's already said that in the chat.
No, they're all dying of motion sickness.
Sorry about the motion sickness. But it's definitely flashing quicker now. So yeah, Skystalker called it, yep, faster now. Matthew Day, fast now. William Bodie says, yep, now it's faster. I bet you didn't think when you woke up this morning that you'd be watching some fat Bristolian doing a BIOS flash on his motherboard today. It seems to be working alright because we've got 70 concurrent viewers at the moment, so there's a lot of sad people out there.
Bold burnt Bristolian.
Bold burnt Bristolian, yeah, that is me. I am the BBB. Doriante says, hi Mike and Kath. Neil Longman says, faster now, I wish I could be. Mitch Hammond says, yes, it's faster. Faster. Dory says, did something blow up? No, bye bye all. Thanks, I think. Oh, come on.
What you do when you pull in the power?
I'm going to do this. I've got to do the proof of concept first that we can downgrade.
Oh.
So downgrade is first, then on...
Do Matthew Day's one and put that on again and see if it's different?
I don't think it would do it. Oh, what, to try and flash the same BIOS again?
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Do you want to see if this BIOS will flash itself the same BIOS again after, regardless if it's corrupted or not?
What would happen if I flash the BIOS when the CPU is still in?
If you try and flash the BIOS with the CPU still in, if it's a BIOS which is compatible, it will possibly sidestep it and try and boot. Right, the light is slowed down now. Hopefully you can see. So we're back down to sub-light speed. So it's always slightly different on all of these boards, so sometimes it means you've got to kind of just wait for it to turn off. I'm going to put it down there. Oh. So then you can see the flash and the fan. There we go. So now what we're waiting for is the power supply to briefly turn off and the flashing to either stop or whatever it wants to do. Because it's done the fast flash. In theory, the light should turn off. Although it's always difficult to tell. I'm pretty sure the slow flash at the start is reading. Then the faster flash is then copying the BIOS too, and then after that, yeah, we've got a little change there. So there's a small change there. Yeah, faster flashing means it's transferring the data that it's put into the buffer into the BIOS, and then I think when it's doing the slow flash after again, it's kind of verifying. Although I don't know because there's no real visual interface for this, so not a bloody clue. It did look like it sped up briefly there. Cosmic Space Mummy says I'm going to have an epileptic seizure of all this blinking. Thanks, Welly Bob. So, is this just going to stop? How long has this been flashing for currently? I should have timed it again. Mitch Hammond says the key thing here is be patient. Every single BIOS flash update that we do or video, I always do the same thing. I always forget to time it, and I always say to Kath, I'm sure it should be finished by now. I'm sure it should be finished by now.
And then it does stop.
And then by the time I've actually said it, it does do it. So it is slower now. Thank you, Ugly Bob. Ugly Bob's tired of flashing white now. He wants some RGB. So there you go, my friend. Markovsky says, make a coffee. Markovsky says, make a coffee and have a poo. Sounds like a fantastic idea. It's not a very good camera angle. It's getting all of my chins there.
At least it's not lower.
Hayden Trent says, howdy, was playing GTA 4. Forgot about stream. O'Reilly says, the easiest BIOS flash I have done in my life is on Dell computers. The Dell computers are actually really easy to do. And there we go. So the light has gone off, stopped flashing. We have nada flash. So in theory, that means it's done because the light's gone off. Although we've still got the CPU light on the motherboard. Excuse me a second. There goes a lung. Lucky I got two. So, sorry, was I aiming on my belly? So currently we've still got the CPU LED on. But it does appear that has worked. Hugh Luttrell says, glad to see you're back on here. Thank you, Hugh. Appreciate that.
Unfortunately, man flu still exists.
Man flu does still exist. Matthew Day says, I didn't see the PSU cut out. No, I didn't either. I think it's one of those things you've got to be very, very kind of waiting for and fixed on it. Otherwise, the very brief power down that it does on the reboot is like, you'll miss it if you blink kind of thing. Oh, Mitch, yeah. Flashing BIOS is back from a floppy disk. Those were the days. Okay, so I don't think anything else is going to happen. That light's going to stay the same. So let's go back onto the wide screen. It's not actually a wide screen, it's just I'm filling out because it's COVID spread. So all we can do at this point is it seems to have done what it needs to do. So we're going to pull the cord and let's remove the USB because we'll be needing that again shortly. Normally you can tell that it is actually finished because the USB is cold. Normally if it's still flashing, that'll be warm because there's stuff being generated. There's some weird sparks going on in that power supply.
Bang!
It's fine, it's absolutely fine. Right, let's put the CPU and stuff back in and see what BIOS revision we're on now. Now in theory, it should just be version, which one do I do? MA. So in theory, we're on MA. If it comes up and it says it's on MC, it means there is something actually built into the BIOS which will prevent an older BIOS being installed. Which again is one of those questions which we do get asked every now and then. And it's something which I've actually considered, is it a thing or not? Now I'm going to put this on the wrong way round now, deliberately, just because it's a little bit easier. Don't you just love the sound of a creaking motherboard when you're putting way too much pressure on a socket? This board will be available for sale very shortly for anyone who's interested in a new motherboard. It's only been slightly abused. There's our RAM in, we've still got our power connectors, etc, etc. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we're ready to power up again.
What's the thermal pad?
The thermal pad?
Yeah.
It's what is in between the processor,
Yeah,
serve user
but
paste.
what make is it, I assume?
Oh, the brand is, I think it's IC.
Well, the question was, what's the thermal pad? So I was assuming
Yeah,
brand, but maybe.
So there we go.
Same as paste, isn't it?
Let's see if we get a boot situation. In theory now it should come up on the screen. Well, I'll wait, you guys will be able to see it anyway. So still on the CPU light, we'll probably get a couple of reboots as it's trying to work out what the heck it's doing. So yeah, CPU light's come on, it's turned off. It's come back on again, so it's trying to boot again. Turned off again. Oh, now it's gone to yes, boot. Yeah, there we go. As you can see, well, actually no, you can't see, can you? Because it's not on there.
You can see most of that.
Can you see the screen there? Yeah, you can see it. So it has posted, and is both. Yes, it has posted with. Let's put the other camera on. Oh. Oh, I'm out of focus now, aren't I? The focus has gone on the bloody camera. It came back just as I switched over.
Oh.
So there we go. So it's booted back up with version MA 0, 26th of the 11th, 2020. We've gone back in time a little bit more. And if I hit F1.
Near to 5 AM in Malaysia.
Wow. 5 AM. That's pretty scary.
Hit F1.
So there we go.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
Nick Barnes has never seen those pads before.
Oh, right. So there we go. That's booted up, and as you can see now, possibly, we're on BIOS version MA. So proof and concept, we have we have confirmed that you can go back in time with your BIOS. So that is actually...
Do a video on that once.
Did I?
Yeah.
I think that wasn't for USB though. That was just actually in the BIOS, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think is the pad IC cooling.
Yes, the pad is IC cooling. Did I say that, didn't I?
You might have done.
Yeah, the pad is from IC cooling, graphite thermal pad. Actually, really handy.
We tend to use them, so it's always the same result for cooling testing.
Yeah, they're useful sometimes when comparing coolers because you get a proper idea, but they're not that thermally efficient, so you kind of have to offset your results a little bit.
But if we always use the same.
Yeah. Fandy says, I'll need to rewatch it, I just woke up. No worries. Back to the Future with Mike and Kath. Yes, we have time travelled, actual time travel. We've set our motherboard back many decades. So now what we need to do is to do the real problematic one, or potentially problematic one, which is flashing a newer modern BIOS onto the board, but killing the power during the process to see if we can kill the board. I don't know if it's going to kill it or not. I really don't. I'm still unsure. It might do. It might not. So what we want to do is we want to go over to the MSI site again. So we'll get our USB stick again. And we're going to go through this process, sadly. Which one is it? Number 3. So I'm going to stick our USB in. And we're going to do the same thing again.
Are you going to do the same one again or not?
No, I'm going to do a newer one. Oh, I don't know. What did everyone say? Did they want to see the new one again?
Anyone replied?
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's Saturday night, nothing else to watch. Simply not interested. Okay, so let's format the drive first of all before we do anything else. So there's the drive formatted. Happy days. So we'll go back to, let's go back to the BIOS version that we had on the board anyway. So we'll download MC. And we'll stick it on the desktop.
Dave Burns is here.
Hello, Dave Burns. So let's get rid of the older ones to prevent any confusion. And unzip this one. And again, we've got to go through the process of renaming the BIOS. So MSI .ROM, and yes, and then we can drag that onto our USB drive. Bada boom. Okay, so that is that part of it done. Nice and simple. A little bit quicker that time round. Yeah, so now we've got to take everything off the board again. Got our USB stick here. This is probably not a great idea, is it? But anyway, so I should have really picked a power supply that actually had some form of power switch on it. That would have made life a little bit easier. But we'll go through, do the same again. So we're going to take off our stick of RAM, get rid of the cooler and the CPU. Yes, Kath?
Question, if no lights on motherboard, do you wait for PSU to stop to know update done?
No. If there's no lights on the motherboard, nothing's going on, then you're probably safe to take it or to power it down and just to get on and do whatever you need to do. I don't see, well, there's been some power supplies which have definitely shut down completely. I have had that, and I'm sure if you look through the back catalogue of videos we've done of BIOS flashes, there has been one or two where the power supply is actually physically turned off. That is becoming more and more of a rarity these days rather than the norm. So yeah, as long as the light has been turned off on the flash, then I think you're pretty much okay to go. It's the one actually on the board you're looking at. Most USB sticks have some form of LED on them these days to tell you what they're going on. So don't take that as being a signal of any sort other than this either on or in standby. The one to look for is the one actually physically on the board itself. So let's try and kill it this time. So again, same deal. We're going to press and hold the button for a couple of seconds. We've got our 4-pin EPX, or EPS rather, 24-pin main power, just the USB in the USB flash slots, and yeah, let's press the button. So press it for the count of 2, 1, 2, and then we can release it, and then wait patiently. And there we go. So it's into life now. And if I get the other camera on, you see the flashing state. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for it to start flashing fast, because that is the moment where the BIOS has actually been transferred through. So bear with us, be a couple of minutes now, or a minute or so.
That, presumably during fast is the dangerous phase.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The fast flash is the worrying part. So it'd be interesting to see if I'm wondering if when it's doing it fast and it's actually transferring, because I think this is probably erasing the BIOS now, or clearing the BIOS blocks, and then when it does it fast, that means it's programming the blocks. Or potentially this could be the read section, reading the USB into the memory. The fast flash could be putting it into ROM, and then the slow flash towards the end could be the actual programming. It's really difficult to know. What's the general consensus? Should I unplug it when it's fast, when it's doing it fast, or on the second slow? Let us know in the comments. Kath will read it out to me.
Mind FUQ says, hello, my B450 while doing flash update got turned off due to the power cut. It's not turning on. There is no USB flash drive or BIOS reset button. Should I replace?
Yes. There's not really much else you can do unless you've got a BIOS chip which is actually removable, like some of the older MSI ASRock boards used to have one. You could potentially desolder the BIOS chip if it's accessible and solder in a new one, but realistically for the price of boards these days you may find it actually cheaper to just replace the damn thing.
Pull it out for ejaculation.
That's probably wise words.
Unplug when it's fast.
Unplug when it's fast, yeah?
Cooler wrong. Don't know what that means.
The cooler is wrong. It was on wrong just now.
Oh, right, okay. Let it finish, pull it out for ejaculation when fast flashing.
Right, fast flashing, so let's pull out the USB stick. And I'm now going to pull out the power supply. So we've got a solid LED, and now I've unplugged the power supply during the flash. So no power to the board, and the USB has been terminated. So in theory, ladies and gentlemen, this should be the point now where...
You pulled out too soon, Vicar.
I pulled out too soon. A story of my life. This, in theory now, should be a brick board.
But Bob's buying it for a tenner anyway.
Bob's buying it for a tenner, so I don't care. So at this point now, we need to know, is the board actually bricked? Did turning off the power brick the board, or is there some means or method where the board will actually recover itself? So I think the only way we can test that efficiently is literally put everything back on and see if it works. If it doesn't work, that is good in two ways. One, it means that we've demonstrated that that is a dangerous thing to do and you should not do it if possible, but also as well gives us the opportunity to then flash the BIOS again, hopefully, and then recover it to a working good state, which is hopefully we can do now. Otherwise, Bob's got himself 10 quid's worth of MSI motherboard. Nice box. Just pretend to yourself that the SATA cables are worth a tenner.
Did you say send back to Amazon? Or Baker said.
Actually, yeah, I'll send
to send back to Amazon.
Hello, Amazon. Yeah, about this motherboard I got from your warehouse clearance section. It's a little bit broken.
This motherboard we got from eBay.
Yeah. I can't remember. Did I buy this on Amazon? I honestly can't remember.
No idea.
Right. So let's see if it will actually post.
Bang!
You're an idiot. An absolute idiot.
You just bother every time.
I know.
It's only little.
So currently, I'm not sure if you can see the CPU light there.
Fiver it works. I vote you can't break it when you're trying to.
So in theory, if the CPU light stays on all the time, it means it's knackered. If the CPU light turns off and then comes back on again, that means it's trying to boot itself. I'm pretty sure at this particular point, the board is dead. It does appear. Everything seems to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. So the RAM is doing its RGB thing. The cooler is obviously cooling.
Tenner if it works and a tenner if it doesn't, apparently.
Alright, okay. That sounds fair. And just so you can see actually on the screen, obviously we've got it connected still. And I think there's somewhere down here is a light to say it's gone into standby. Or it's just off. So yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Careful with that camera.
Sorry. Sorry, duder. So I think it's fair to... Suck in the guts, Kath, you're on camera. Nope, suck harder. Oh dear, shouldn't laugh while I'm holding a camera. So that is, yeah, that's knackered. So we have successfully killed the board now. At this point now, the board no longer works, which is kind of good. So we'll unplug it again. We'll take out the RAM. Wouldn't it be funny if I snapped the board in half halfway through this so I can't actually test it? That would be hilarious.
You have to use another.
Yeah. I'll have to use yours, Kath. Ooh, I nearly bent the pins then.
I'm not straightening them again. I quite liked it actually, it was quite therapeutic.
So, USB stick, we're not going to change anything, literally going to try and do the same BIOS, exactly the same procedure again. So is that in the lower slot? I can't really see. Appears to be. Yes, it is, yeah. Yeah, so all we can do now is try and reflash it. So that is in, we'll jump start the board.
Bang!
For fuck's sake, don't do that! She does that every fucking time. Did I press the button then?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Oh, I know what I did. I just tried to turn it on, didn't I? Because I am stupid. Let me turn it off.
Mike's on bricking.
There we go. So that is now off, in theory.
Mike's on bricking. Reviews on how not to's.
So we're going to press and hold the button for a couple of seconds. Actually, I'm going to unplug the power again, just to make sure. And I'm going to discharge the CMOS. So that's reset. I'm going to plug it back in.
Bang!
Do you want a divorce? Right, press and hold for 2 seconds. 1, 2, and release. Now, hopefully, the flashlight will come on. And, oh, I didn't catch that quite quick enough. So that is on. And the BIOS flashlight is on. So now what we're looking for is, oh, sorry, that light to start flashing a little faster. That's not a bad shot.
I can't read the name. It's
Oh yeah.
What is this?
What is this? It's trying to flash a motherboard BIOS, or trying to kill a BIOS, and then put a known good BIOS back on. Proof of concept to see if this particular board will do what I think it's meant to do, what the whole USB thing is for. Excuse me for 2 seconds, I have to go and blow my nose and something. Something. I'll be back shortly. Stay. Wait, Daisy, Daddy got a piss.
going to do shouting.
They didn't, did they?
I didn't know you were talking to me.
Oh yeah, Daisy was in the way. Right, let's put my microphone back on. Is it muted? Oh no, still on. Oh, that's unfortunate. So they probably heard me shout, yeah. Ah dear. Right, it's flashing fast. Flashing fast on the hey look. You can probably see, oh no you can't. Oh, it's gone off. Did I time that particularly well? That was a well-deserved pee break. Oh, should have blown my nose actually, I forgot about that. Can you get me a tissue please, Kath, sorry. So that appears to have worked. So, looking at the board.
Sorry, check you're on.
We've got the thing there. And check it out. Got my Bermudas on.
You going look at me?
No. Do you guys want? Do you want to see Kath?
No.
Shall I turn it around?
No.
Do you want to see Kath? She's been sunbathing. She's got a bit of a tan. It's pretty cool. Shall I turn the camera around? She doesn't appreciate that sort of humour. I'll put the other camera on now. There we go. Let's get back to the other camera. Look at my shiny head. I am so hot. So that appears to have worked. Blue roll, man's sneezing paper. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes you've got to do it. Right, so it works, or at least it appears to have worked. So let's kill the power, take the USB out, then kill the power, and oh crap, nearly knocked the processor on the floor. That'd have been great. That would have been a real kick in the testicule.
For me.
For Kath, just because she'd have to straighten the pins out on air, live. Right, so CPU in the socket, retention arm down, IC diamond or IC thermal compound, whatever the hell they call these things these days. I'm very confident this is going to work, which I probably shouldn't say because that's just jinxed the whole damn thing. But we'll see. Yay! Exercise goal achieved. Sat down. Oh, that was a very exerciseful pee I went for. Right. So one stick around.
The LR mic monitor on the screen. You still didn't change that.
Oh yeah, I need to change it on the camera. It's good I'm a rookie. When I first started doing this, the Lumix G7 we used had on-screen display. And the only way you could get rid of the on-screen display was by leaving it for a certain amount of time until it timed out and it would disappear. But I've currently got the camera set. If Kath presses the focus button now, it'll come up on the screen. You'll see the level lines.
Do it?
Yeah, can do. Oh, typical's not done it now. So why is it not doing that?
I think when you did live streaming, didn't we always have that, but nothing else?
Maybe then. Oh well.
Oh, it's
I'm
up
useless.
now. It is up now. It's
Oh yeah, see.
delayed, isn't it?
So there's the green line. This is our horizon line to tell that the camera is level. And you can probably see if I move around, there's a box around my sweaty head. It's eye tracking. There, that confuse it. I know, I haven't got them, normally I have them drawn on there. It's for my Illuminati friends.
I thought you just had LNR.
LNR. Or DNR. Right. We're getting sidetracked now. So in theory now,
Your head doesn't even fit inside the box.
Doesn't, does it? my poor head. Right, let's plug this in here. And in theory, this is going to work. So now we're waiting on so this should, if it's going to work, which it looks like it did, it should stay on the CPU light for a while, then turn off again, and then try again. But it's already stayed on there for a worryingly long time. Like way too long. So maybe it didn't. Maybe it has actually killed the board. It does appear that might be the case.
Or not in a case.
This is not good. But the flash process appeared to work.
Reset the BIOS mic.
We are going to try that. So let's turn the system off. Press and hold the power button for a few seconds. Come on, turn off.
Clear CMOS.
So that's the system off now.
Take out the battery. Dave Burns is going for a smoke.
Health break. And we'll short out the...
Power on system without power.
Right, I'm going to have to put that down. So power that on and discharge.
Knocks with the hammer should do the trick.
Right, so that is the power supply shorted out. And let's try again. So we're looking for that CPU LED to change or to move.
To be fair, the light went out in seconds.
What's that?
Just now, didn't it?
Hmm. It doesn't appear to be doing anything, so we may have actually killed the board. That sucks.
Can't you do the reflash again?
I can try another reflash to see if that brings the board back. I don't know how long I should leave this actually. It needs something. So that is, yeah, I'm convinced that that is a dead board now. It appears to be still a dead board.
I'll try another reflash once more. Motherboard killer.
I have a motherboard killer. There's me, quietly confident. Cosmic Space Muffin, yeah, do it, it's fine, it's worked. Bastard.
Special repairs now. We've got Ugly Bob's having it for a tenner.
Right, so we're gonna have to try that again. That sucks. That really does suck quite hard. So let's pull the power right there.
It could be a cat bed.
If I can get enough of them, I could actually make up some wallpaper.
What did the board cost you?
I think it was about £60, something like that. I'm not entirely sure, I've got to be honest. I'm sure, I think it was around about that sort of price. It was from Amazon's warehouse, so it was already a factory refurb or something along those lines. Right, I'm going to plug this into my laptop just to make sure that the BIOS actually on there is good. ROM file 32.768 KB, that's fine.
Set the BIOS before you try to boot to screen.
Right, so stick that in, yes. So that is in the bottom slot. And let's get the power back on. I cannot believe that has not worked first time. I am genuinely disappointed.
Cosmic said, I said that you can flash
1,
back the
2,
BIOS.
3.
I did not say pull the power plug to be fair.
Okay, that's fair enough then. Right, so the flashing has commenced. Oh dear.
Matthew Day said, if you can desolder an 8-pin SPI without wrecking, there is hope using my chip programmer.
Oh, right.
There is no hope then.
Yeah, there's no hope. I can't solder for shit. I don't even know where the BIOS chip is on the board, to be honest with you. I'm trying to see where it would be. That used to be the thing with ASRock boards. It was like patently obvious where it was. I'm pretty sure now it's up in this top corner. Anyway, let's not dwell let's not dwell on the downside. Let's celebrate in the knowledge that I've killed a board, possibly.
Beer.
I don't want a beer. I don't. I'll start crying. That'll be it.
It's a beer, not gin.
All right, okay. So let's have a look at some of your questions, see what people are thinking. Flashing light stopped. No, we're actually. Can you guys see that on the? Yeah, that's visible, isn't it? Yeah, you can see that. So keep an eye on the flashing light for me. I'll keep an eye on the questions. So William Bodie says, Cafeteria, are you testing if Mike is well?
That's with the facial.
Mark Berry says bricked, clear CMOS, take out the battery, BRB, smoke. No second phase. Maybe it only restored the boot block. Try a second time, yeah. Cool the coppers, motherboard killer. Rip motherboard. Wow. These comments are coming through thick and fast. Are they coming through that fast, or is it just...
They're all a bit old.
I don't know what's going on. Mine's going like crazy. Dave Burns is back. Oh, right. I think it's just catching up. What type of camera do you use? It is the... Well, there's two. There's that one there, which is the little dinky one. That's the Logitech C920, which is absolutely brilliant little camera. It's not really made for 1080p. It's more of a 720p camera, but we kind of force it to do 1080, 30 frames per second, and it doesn't really like it. But yeah, you can make it do it. The main camera is the Lumix G80. Oh yeah, we're flashing faster. Well spotted. So flashing faster is a good sign. So after the flashing faster bit, we're looking for it to then slow down again to normal, kind of slower flashing speed, which is then when I believe that it is actually transferring the BIOS to the system. So if it gets to the fast flashing and then stops, that means the board's knackered. I think we really need to see that slow flash again after.
Yeah, that's what Matthew Dave's already said.
All right. So we had a little...
Slow, fast, slow.
Yeah, we had a little blip there where it stopped and then started again. A little bit faster. But we really want to see that slow flashing. Like, slow flashing. Sorry. It's speed up again. Oh, it's fast now. Katie Zora says, hi Mike, how you doing? Mark Berry says, so do ASRock have removable BIOSes? They used to. Back in the early days when ASRock was the sub-company of ASUS rather than being a split-off as they are now, you could actually buy ASRock BIOSes. You probably still can get them on eBay, where you could type in your motherboard version. I think it was like was it an AS7R or something? I think it was one of their early ones for the Socket 7 boards. And yeah, if you destroyed a BIOS, you could just buy a BIOS chip. I think they did up until probably maybe Core 2 Duo, that sort of era. They might even still do them now. I haven't had a really good close look. I think the last one that I saw one which you could probably replace was the B450 Pro 4, which is clearly visible on the board with a sticker on it saying what BIOS it is, and it's only got about 8 solder points, so you probably could actually remove the BIOS if you were reasonably good with a soldering iron.
Aidan Trent says no RGB on the computer behind you. Is that just gone to sleep?
Oh yeah. It's part of that new chipset driver from AMD. It makes everything go to sleep and it turns off all the RGB, which is the exact opposite of what I actually want. Bastards.
And mine keeps going to sleep.
Markowski says, we really want to see those fingers. Do you know what that's from, Kath? That is from that thing with Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer. Shooting Stars.
Really watch that.
Is that flashing slower now?
Don't know.
I kind of want it to be dead. Is that bad?
Murderer.
Is that bad of me to say that?
Yeah, they are saying it's slow flash.
Shooting Stars, yes. Slow flash, Mike. Thank you, guys. And girls? Shooting Stars. Welcome to Shooting Stars.
Years ago when we lived with my mum, she
Love that.
used to watch it and I fall asleep.
Dave Burns. Let's cool down the dove from above. Coo, coo, coo. The things I do.
Matt Lucas.
In front of people.
But Matt Lucas like a big baby in it.
Yeah, Matt Lucas was dressed up as a baby, wasn't Iranu. Uvavu. Oh, they should bring that back. Actually, is either one of them dead? Don't think so. Bring it back. Matthew Day says, maybe the first time reloaded the boot block only. Okay. We're still flashing slowly, so this seems like it's doing it longer than it did last time. I'm relatively convinced this is longer than the first time, because I only went for a pee, and that don't take long. Even with like old man prostate, it doesn't take that long. What are the scores on the board? George Dawes. That was it. I do miss old programs like that. Let's put you on number 4 so you can see the flashing status. I can't believe I didn't turn off the HDMI info. What a dipstick. Oh yeah, Bob did come close. William Boat, is this turning into a Monty Python show now? It probably will do. Oh, please let this work. That would be very, very good. Now, I've got to be honest with you, I'm very pleased to say that... oh, is that camera back on now? I don't know. I really need to have 2 monitors for streaming. It's very difficult not doing it. But very pleased to say there's about 160 plus concurrent viewers at the moment, so thank you all very much for tuning in. You mad crazy people. Have you not got anything better to do on a Saturday evening than watch a big, baldy, Bristolian, burnt person?
Mark Berry says he's thinking about defunding the BBC. Hasn't watched TV for ages now. Do it.
Don't pay your TV license. Get yourself YouTube Premium instead, or Amazon Prime. Much better. So that the light's gone off. The lights are out. Nobody's home.
Stopped.
And it stopped. Yes, Matthew Day. Lind IT Computer says stopped. It certainly has. So this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Is it going to work? Are we going to have a working motherboard, or is Bob going to be getting a £10 piece of mub art? So let's take the power out. If anyone out there is religious, a little prayer right now would be very useful. Thank you very much. If you don't have a religion or a belief, just send some positivity. And for diagnostics, well, do whatever the hell you like. IC cooling pad again. Let's get that back on there. Do you know what? This is typical. I figured I'd do this tonight because it's a nice warm night. It's midsummer. Lots of stuff on sports-wise. I figured I'll do this when there's hardly anybody watching. That'd be easy to do. If it goes wrong or whatever, it isn't a problem. I was thinking maybe 40 viewers, 50 viewers. There's 160 of you watching this. No pressure. So, what's your thoughts? Do you think this is going to work this time round? Do you think the longer flash meant it's going to work?
Matthew Day sees a cooling pad.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Excuse me. Coughing into my arm. That is a 2020s thing, isn't it?
I always did it before it's trendy.
Yeah, Kath did do it before it's trendy, actually.
It's working with food.
Right, so processor, cooling pad, cooler, and some RAM. Now, someone else did say before we do this to discharge the board. So let's discharge the board. Yep, that's done.
What cooler is that?
We'll pop out the seamless battery, the Antec A30. Actually, for test bench work and stuff like that, it's brilliant. It's so easy to use. Combination of that with a thermal pad, I strongly suggest, if you've not got one already, jump on Amazon, grab yourself an IC thermal pad, grab yourself a Antec A30.
Using our links.
Yeah, affiliate links, obviously. yeah, it's just really handy. Think of how mucky and messy this would have been if I had to put thermal paste on every time. Not good. Okay, so we've...
Is it 3 or 4 pin?
Just to recap, it's a 3-pin, but it still does PWM anyway. So to recap, we've reflashed the BIOS with version MC, which was what the board actually had at the beginning of tonight's extravaganza before we potentially killed the board. I'm still not sure how I feel about this. Anyway, let's go. There's a super chat coming in from Cosmic Space Muffin, 50 Norwegian kroner, and says, hello Mike, long time viewer, but I have a question. What cooler is that in the back? Thank you. Is that what, the one in the PC behind me? The cooler in the PC behind me in my streaming kind of gaming test rig. You can't see actually. I'll shut up.
I'm on my phone.
Thank you Cosmic for a kind donation. Yeah, the cooler in the PC behind me, that one there is a Fractal S36, I think. Yeah, Fractal design. Oh, thanks Dory, yeah. Yeah, Dory Wood on that one. This is it. This is the moment of truth or tears, ladies and gentlemen.
Bang! Oh, you didn't even notice.
Oh yes, the light has changed. And I think the CPU light is coming on and off, which is a fantastic sign. That means it's trying different boot cycles and RAM frequencies, doing RAM training. And there we go, we're it's now looked at the VGA and dun dun dun, there we go.
Captain Me.
Sorry, shaky camera. Captain Me's Adventures cracks me up. So we have managed to let's do press F1, make sure that everything is there. And which BIOS? Oh, that's interesting. We are now currently on BIOS version MC0. I'm sure at the beginning that was MC1. It was, wasn't it?
Oh, William Bodie's prayer did work. Why didn't he use it for the lottery?
Thanks, William. Blimey, that's done well. Someone do me a favour. See if you can rewind the video to the beginning when I looked at the BIOS version. I'm sure it was MC1. Now it's MC0. I don't understand why that is. Unless MC0 is a final and MC1 was a beta? I don't think it was.
Week 2, you fix the cooling system at a nuclear power plant.
Back from the dead. It's alive. It certainly is.
It's weird science.
Weird science. Woo! That's enough of that. Cosmic Space Muffin says MC1. It was MC1 at the beginning. Now it's MC0. Is there a backup BIOS on the motherboard? I don't think there is. I'm pretty sure the BIOS is in this region somewhere. At the top of the board. I'm not sure if you can even see it, whether it'd even focus on it, to be honest with you, but I think the BIOS flashback is definitely there. And I'm pretty sure the BIOS itself is either there or it's sometimes down here, but that's where the sound chips are. So maybe it's that one just in there. I'll just point to it, you can hopefully see it. I think that is possibly one of the BIOS chips there.
Week 3, you fix sheet, no, you fix your head by gluing a sheet wall too. That's Dave Burns. Sometimes it picks up a previous BIOS when it has bricked BIOS.
That's true, that's true. So yeah, it was maybe there is some sort of BIOS backup on these boards. Who knows? I'm tempted to actually reach out to MSI and see what the deal is on this. I probably will at some point, for those that haven't seen this video and watched what we've gone through. And again, thank you all for joining us tonight on this learning experience. I've got to be honest, I didn't know how this was going to work out. I was condemned to the fact that I potentially could lose a motherboard tonight, and I'm extremely glad that I haven't. Although, I'm a bit gutted now that Bob gets a working motherboard for a tenner. Still, these are the choices we make these days. Although, the sad part is it has to come with the CPU, which is the one that's on there, and that one's £5,000. So, yeah, it's not all roses for Bob.
What's the one in the front room where I straighten the pins on?
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll send it with the Athlon 3000G, which has got basically the pins on it look like
75% bent, isn't they?
Yeah, they look like someone's teeth from the 60s. They're like all out the hat. It's hilarious.
It works.
It does work. It does work, and this works. So, what have we learned? We've learned that the USB flashback can revert to a old BIOS. We've also learned that if for some reason there's a power issue, you can try and reflash the BIOS.
Ooh, like Sesame Street.
And if it doesn't reflash the first time, potentially you can do it the second or maybe even the third time, and it appears that the USB flashback system will reflash a board regardless of what state it's on. So for all of you out there at the moment who are looking for a cheap motherboard, my suggestion is you go onto eBay, and if there's any nice boards you can see which are for spares or repair and they've got USB flashback on them, as long as there's no physical damage, I would seriously suggest getting yourself a cheap board for probably a tenth or maybe a fifth of the price of the board new. I think that's definitely going to be a thing, and probably when the stream is over I may well actually look at that, or maybe tomorrow.
Mike will fix it.
Hello Flame. What's that?
Mike will fix it.
Mike will fix it for you and you and you. So that might be a thing now, getting old motherboards off eBay and trying to resurrect them. Maybe that is the thing. I can't believe it's worked out.
Maybe you should buy a few and see how many you can fix in a live stream.
Afandi says, thank you Mike for your sacrifice in the name of science. You're welcome, sir.
Cosmic Space Muffin, moral of this stream is I'm right, even though you denied when it broke.
Yeah. Right, let's answer some of your questions there. So, Chris Fine says, hi Kath.
Yeah, wait to the end of the stream and use our...
Yeah. Dave Burns says, week 3 fixes his head by gluing sheep wool to his barnet. That would be very insulating. I'll get very even sweatier.
Dye pink first.
Welly Bob says, sometimes it picks up a previous BIOS when it has a bricked BIOS. Okay, that's very... It used to be that you'd have dual BIOS, so that if the primary one failed, quite often you'd press a switch and it would do it. Awesome stuff. As long as nothing goes pop, there's always a chance. There definitely is, yes. CFW Space W says, I am here for the first time. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Oh, Captain Meat, I'm not going to answer that one. Too soon. Right, I think that is going to be... I think that's pretty much it. I think we've worked out what we need to do.
Anyone's got any questions?
If anyone's got any specific questions regarding this, then, or anything else, let us know in the comment section now. We'll do a quick bit of Q&A for the last little part of the stream. But otherwise, I think we've pretty much cracked it. Have a quick slurp. I am getting a bit of a sore throat now.
Oh.
And again, sorry for last week not being on the stream. It was unfortunate, but you can't help when you get a little bit sick, can you, every now and then? I should power this down, rather than just ripping the power out. So, that is good. I'm pleased. I'm pleased that's worked out pretty well.
Are you pleased?
I am pleased. I am pleased. It's something that which I'd always been kind of convinced in my mind that it would work. So I suppose really I should put my money where my mouth is and do it on a more expensive board next time. Or perhaps a different brand. We have got the We have got the ROG Strix B450 F Gaming-2, which we could try out next time. That'd be pretty good. Ugly. Hayden Trent says, did you have COVID last week? Not a clue. Who knows?
It was a cold.
I haven't been tested, so as far as I'm concerned, it's a cold. But if somebody wants to give me 2 weeks off, then yeah, it's COVID. I'll go with that. Although, I don't think my bosses would like that too much. You and Ian.
I don't mind you having 2 weeks off.
Kath said I can have 2 weeks off. There we go. It's all good.
You've done 2 weeks worth of work already, so.
Matthew Barton says, what's the temperature difference between a good thermal paste and a pad? Normally, I would say it's probably, it depends a lot on the processor, but probably about maybe 2 or 3 degrees. So, well, a pad would compare probably about the same as kind of some like your cheapy pastes. So this normally is about 3, maybe 4 or 5 degrees different from a reasonable paste, and obviously if you've got a high-end paste, you could probably drop another couple of degrees off there. So potentially there's a swing of up to 10 degrees if you're going from like kind of liquid metal to a pad. But if you're going from a relatively inexpensive paste like this, or maybe MX4, there's not a huge difference, but there is a few degrees in it. In terms of if you're benchmarking, you'll definitely notice it. I actually had that pad in Kath's computer for months, and it was absolutely fine. Temperatures never got out of control. Yeah, it was fine.
Captain Meat wants to know which board you would suggest out of the ones.
What? Mike, which board do you suggest? Chopping, skate, or the gas? I would have to say skateboard. I love skateboarding. I haven't been skateboarding for years. Probably a good 5 years, maybe slightly less.
Say how the estate agents were a bit amazed when we were buying our house.
Yeah, when we were actually looking to buy our first house, you know, you go to the estate agents and they say, okay, what sort of thing is it you're looking for, and is there anything we should be doing? They go through, like, obviously, how many bedrooms? Would you like a garage? And we're like, well, 3 bedrooms, ideally. Do you want a garage? Not bothered, but is there enough room in the garden to build a half pipe? And most of them are like, a what? What's a half pipe? I'm like, well, I like skateboarding. I want to build a half pipe in the back garden. They're like, well, how big is that? It's like, well, as big as I can get it, really. They were very confused.
And we did refuse houses purely because it wouldn't fit a half pipe in.
We did actually turn down some really stunning houses which you couldn't build a half pipe in.
We say stunning, but stunning in our price range.
Yeah, stunning for peasants, which is what we were at the time. Actually, we still are now, but we just look good on it. Hugh Luttrell says, is 198 degrees Fahrenheit too hot for an SSD? I think so. I'm not sure what that is. What is that in Celsius? That's like fire, isn't it? It's more than boiling point. Hey Siri. Oh, you're over there. What is 180 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius? Please.
180 degrees Fahrenheit is 82.2 degrees Celsius.
Yes. That's too hot, Hugh. It needs cooling. Fahad Barkat, sorry. What's a cheap cooler just for testing parts? This one. This is great. This one is fantastic. The Antec A30. The spring clip is really quite easy to navigate. It's quite a small 92mm fan on there as well. So I haven't done a review of this yet. This is one of the few coolers that was sent to us for review but I've ended up using it quite a few times for testing purposes, and I've never got around to doing the review. It's actually got a couple of heat pipes, so even if you didn't, actually saying that, I did in the AeroCool, the RGB split case, we did actually use it in there. So it did give you some idea of temperatures, etc. in that video.
Did we also discuss a Fritzl style basement during your house hunting? You know, we always asked for a big cupboard under the stairs.
We did want a cupboard under the stairs for the kids, yeah, that's right, yeah.
They did look a little worried.
Matthew Day, I did hear that the other day, the Hey Google thing. I listened to a little bit of it and I got really confused and disconnected it because I didn't understand it. Anything I don't understand, I disconnect. A bit like when you're flashing a BIOS.
Right, Blake has asked.
Yes, Blake.
You better read it.
Blake, where is it? I can't even see it. Ghost Adder says Bristol Zone, Aaron Cairo. No, more, well, closer to Tony Hawk, I would say. A very overweight Tony Hawk.
That's what Ugly Bob said.
Did he? Bastard.
But it's about 4 or 5 up from
All right. Hugh. Oh, Blake. I got an issue with entering my BIOS on a cheap JVC TV connected with HDMI. The aspect ratio scale is all messed up. Changed the scaling in NVIDIA display in Windows, but in BIOS it's unusable.
Didn't we have that upstairs?
Yeah, it depends on the TV and how it works and how it interacts with modern graphics cards. Because modern graphics cards use UEFI, you might have to change your BIOS to CSM to tell it not to use UEFI in the BIOS screen. So that is definitely worth checking out. As is the Klevv Bolt X RGB RAM.
Mark.
What have you done now?
I've been scaring him because he's only listening.
Oh, right, okay.
And I've been banging.
So yeah, I would first thing, well, probably the best thing to do is to check that your BIOS is set to CSM, which will give you compatibility mode for your VGA BIOS as well. Oh, sorry, I'm dying a little bit here. Stuart Cleary, €20. Says, interesting show tonight, Mike, and I enjoyed the funny moments from all the regulars. Yeah, this channel is what it is because of you guys. It really is. If it wasn't for you joining in, contributing, having a laugh, giving me suggestions, telling Kath what to do, telling her to tell me to say bang or whatever when I'm doing something. Sorry, I was waiting for you to put it over.
Sorry.
Ah, bright light. It's like looking at the solar eclipse. Yeah, it's down to you guys. You guys made this channel happen, really. Otherwise, I'm just some fat Bristol bloke sat here chatting to myself.
How big was the half pipe you built? You never actually built one.
Never built it. The weirdly, the house that we went for in the end didn't have room for a half pipe, and it was
a very steep one.
Yeah, it was. We had a triangular garden. It was kind of triangular. So
It was for this house. We asked. It's on our.
No, it was the
second
first
house.
one, wasn't it?
No, it was on this one.
Was it? No. Potentially, we could have a half pipe in our garden. It's not quite wide enough.
Or Mike's not quite skilled enough for that steep
Yeah,
half.
we're waiting for one of the neighbours to croak it so we can buy their house and then we can extend the garden either way.
I didn't tell them.
Don't tell them. Windows are open.
They're out.
They've gone out. It's all right. O'Reilly yes says 4 more likes to get to the magic number, ladies and gentlemen.
3.
Oh, 3 now. Why did you click not like?
No, I've already done it.
So if anybody wants a part-used MSI B450-A Pro and wants to outbid Bob, well, Bob, actually, if you do want it, you're welcome to it. Bob is the patrons. Oh, actually, that smells burnt. No, it's fine. Ooh, that's funny. The BIOS area, where the actual flashing has been, that definitely smells burnt. No, it's fine. They all the ports smell a little bit burnt, so it must be just a chemical thing. But that's fine. Oh, 73 now, we've overshot. Hopefully someone screenshotted. So what do you think? Do you think that next time I should attempt it with another board just to see if it's a fluke from MSI? Maybe we'll go around the houses, do an ASRock, we'll do an MSI, we'll do Asus, do a Gigabyte as well, just to see if they all react in the same way. I'm guessing they probably will, but I don't know for sure. And sometimes it's fun finding out. What the hell's that? Oh, actually I've got another Asus board there. So I could try it on the Tough Gaming Plus. That might be an interesting one because that's quite, well, I suppose this board and the ROG Strix B450 are probably about as popular as each other. Probably that one I'd say is gaining more popularity. So possibly we'll do that. I think it would be a good idea to do it with a different board. I might struggle with the X570 though, due to the fact that the compatibility with APUs is a little bit sketchy.
What's it?
Oh, come on, get under there, you swine. O'Reilly says, yes, if you have the board to risk, it's worth doing. Well, I suppose technically I could write it off as a tax thing. I can imagine the accountant. So Mike, tell me about this. It says here, you destroyed a motherboard in a means of entertaining your viewers. Do you think this is a responsible way of spending your money?
You could have done
Probably
it
not.
as it blends.
Yeah, I could have blended it, yeah, there's worse.
In Jet Blend or whatever it's called.
Blend jet. Put it in the blend jet, see what happens to it.
It'd probably break the Blend Jet.
Gary says, snorting motherboards now. Matthew Day says, do you risk an X570 though? Cosmic says, I had no luck with flashing back on Asus motherboards, just a heads up. Colin says, no wonder there's a component shortage. Mike has had them underneath all his desk. To be fair, the motherboards I've had for quite a long time now. And I've been trying to flog them on our Discord for ages. No one's picked up on them, so.
And to be fair, it's not even a desk, it's our dining table.
Yeah, it is our dining table, it's not a desk really. Christmas Day's fun, because we have to eat at the Mike's Unboxing table. Not even open the cooling paste in there. Outlaw, thank you very much for sending us this. Appreciate that. I will review it one day.
Put it on your pile.
I'll put it in the to be reviewed pile. Excuse me. Oh, bloody hell.
Told everyone you've got.
Oh, I did do it. Thought I left the USB dongle in the motherboard. That is something which I do far, far too frequently. Right, so that is that. That is that. I can put that away. Don't need that anymore. Just have a look at some of your questions and see what is going on. And we'll run it up to 11 o'clock, and then after that we'll call it a day. I think that's the normal 2-hour stream, give or take. So Colin Pierman, no wonder. Oh yeah, sorry, we said that one already. Matthew Day says, do I give up on my old DDR3 platform? Yes, you do. Definitely buy a motherboard from me, or from the affiliate links in the video description, or from Bob. Yeah. Cosmic Space Muffin says, just call it a company lunch then. That is, Christmas dinner is a company lunch, because it's technically at this desk, which is the business desk. So, actually, we could do that. We could have a right old slap up meal this year, and put it on the business. Get everyone to wear Mike's Unboxing t-shirts and hats, Christmas hats. Basically a baseball cap with a bit of mistletoe strapped to it. That'd be fine.
Mike's Unboxing crackers.
Mike's Unboxing crackers. We love it. Absolutely brilliant. Ghost Seller says, no more Me Band 6 videos then. There's two. There's two left to go out. Fandy says, I just joined your Discord actually. I'll try to be active. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Markovsky says, he's a sculptor, Colin. We can see his sculpt. You can literally see my sculpt. I am officially a sculptor. Or I've been sculpted. Kenny D says, hi Mike and Kath, I'm sorry I'm late. No worries, Kenny. Always good to see you. Ugly Bob says, Xmas Day live stream. Mike's no boxing day. That's good. I might have to do that. I think we did. Did we do a live stream last?
think
We
we
did.
did Boxing Day.
We did
didn't we?
Boxing Day or Christmas Eve, I think, either last year or the year before.
Depends what day it fell on. Done New Year's Eve before now, haven't we?
Captain Meets messages, Mike, have you watched any of the game streams at E3 today? I haven't. I'll be honest with you, today we got up at some point, obviously. Then we went.
Busy week this week.
We went to the fruit and veg shop to get some fruit and veg, obviously. Bananas, my favourite. Love a banana. Although not quite ripe. Did you know, ladies and gentlemen, that if a banana has got the brown spots on it, but has still got a green stalk or stem, it means it's been artificially ripened. If the banana has a brown or black stem and brown spots on it, it means it is ripened naturally. There you go. You can tell both of your friends that now, as I will.
No mangoes.
No mangoes. Didn't buy any mangoes this time, because I still don't know if I got to peel them or blend them or I don't know. Still confusing. So no, I've not seen any game footage at E3. I'm actually looking forward to Dying Light 2. That looks to be very good. I actually started playing some of the old, when I was feeling a little bit groggy, I was like, oh, I can't go to bed, I can't do anything, what should I do? I'll play a game. So I started playing the original Dead Island. And I forgot how good that game actually was. And even now, what, 10 years on, it looks and plays brilliantly. For those who don't know, Dead Island was the kind of like the precursor to Dying Light. It was made by Techland. It was their, I think it was their first game that they did. I think it was their first game that they did in that genre, the kind of the zombie genre. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant game. Love it to pieces. They then went on to do Dead Island Riptide, I think. I think that was still Techland. Then they were supposed to do Dead Island 2. Never happened. And then they went on to do Dying Light instead. Very good, very good. Hayden Trent says crush 'em. Okay. Battlefield game trailer. I'm probably in a minority here, and you're probably going to give me hate for it, but I don't like Battlefield. I genuinely don't like playing Battlefield games. Since probably, is it Battlefield 1941? Like one of the very, very early ones, probably in the early 2000s. They changed the aim style, and I didn't like it. And ever since then, it's just been one of those things where I think it's just more of a console game than a PC game. I know a lot of people play it on PC, it's mega popular, etc. But maybe I have to take a look at it. I think the original Battlefield and the follow-ups like Battlefield 1942 or 1940, whatever it was, those for me were fantastic games. I really enjoyed them. I think I played pretty much the first 3 all the way through, up until the one where you did the start of on the beach, and you jump off the boat and do the beach invasion thing. I think that was the last one I played, or at least played to actually enjoy rather than for benchmarks or whatever. John Simon says, nor do I really, just doesn't do it for me. Yeah, Riley says, yes, you are good, remembered your Techland history. Yeah, Techland makes some awesome games, they really do. Dying Light, I think, when Dying Light came out, it was just... Playing Dying Light again now is a real eye-opener, because you realise actually how much they put into that game. Even though it's such a huge landscape, the storyline and everything was brilliant. It's a really, really good game. Kenny D says Battlefield 3 and 4 are amazing as well, and our main fan faves. Got it. Main fan faves, yeah. I'm trying to think what other games really. We have got what other games are coming out soon? Far Cry 6. That I am looking forward to. No, Cav's doing that. No, it's not that good. It looks amazing, and I cannot wait to see Mr. Fring as a bad guy in it. That is going to be awesome. Very, very surreal. I do apologise, I can't remember the actor's name, but he was an actor in the Breaking Bad. He was the bad guy who had the chicken shop, and also obviously a big time drug dealer. But he is going to be one of the main characters in the game. And from what it looks like is Far Cry 6 is actually a prequel. And it looks like the bad guy from Far Cry 3 potentially is the bad guy's son in Far Cry 6. So we're kind of going backwards, going forward. Sorry?
Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon, yes. He is in Mandalorian too. Yes, he was. That's right. With the black, is it the black saber or black whatever, black crystal saber? I don't know. I don't know my Star Wars as much as I should. Cyberpunk 2078. Yeah, that'll be coming out. What was the other one? There was another big title which is due out later in December.
2 Point.
Oh, what was it?
Campus or something?
No.
They have got one coming
There's
out.
Far Cry 6, and it's basically the competitor on the other side. Oh, someone let me know in the chat. Giancarlo Esposito, that's the actor, sorry. What is it? There was another game that's like, oh, that looks great, but it's not out till December. And I'm pretty sure that Far Cry 6 is out on October the 7th, which is still way too long. What was it? Battlefield is out in December. Having a brain fart. What's that? 2 Point Campus. Is that 2 Point Hospital?
But in a college, I suppose.
Oh my god. 2 Point Campus. There's something to look forward to.
I do.
I need to catch up on that. I haven't seen what games are coming out. Horizon Zero Dawn. There's bound to be others as well. But it's yeah, hopefully the PC industry, the gaming industry definitely needs a real kick in the ass, because we've had so many games who've just been essentially just rehashes, and it's always the same. They just add features which we like. Ray tracing. What game out there genuinely benefits from ray tracing? I don't think there's one. Not that is actually one of those night and day differences. You turn on ray tracing, it kills performance. And that is going to be a thing for years. It really is. Technology isn't ready for it for a long way. You'll never get the frame rates that you would from rasterization rendering that you would with RTX on. It's not going to catch up in the next 5 years, I would say. So we're going to be, it's always a performance penalty, which I don't think the RTX in its current format adds enough to the table. I really don't. Like, if there was a game where you specifically had to get the advantage by looking in a puddle at a specific reflection, yes, that would be a game changer, literally, because you'll be able to see around corners effectively. But for most people, normally, most games are really fast and you don't have time to look in puddles to see how accurate the reflection is. You really don't. And I think that is what the industry has concentrated way too much on RTX. And no doubt AMD, when they're doing whatever they're going to do, is going to be exactly the same. They're just adding features for no real gain.
You find the same with The Sims.
Yeah, The Sims was the same.
Graphics are so big,
Sims 1,
but
Sims
it
2,
took
Sims
so
3,
long-
Sims 4, it's like...
so long to load, travel into towns and stuff that it just rubbish.
Yeah, and you can't get a GPU anyway. Mark says, let's look forward to the AMD driver thingy. Yeah, the new technology coming from AMD, which is basically, it's essentially render scaling. It's not done in AI, so it's kind of making your 1080p game look like it's 720p with a few nice bits of anti-aliasing on it. I don't think it's going to be particularly good. Unless it uses AI, it's not going to be good. It'll be helpful, but render scaling probably will do just as good, if not better.
Flamey.
John Sullivan says, action games are so fast that you don't notice reflections anyway. No, you don't. It's only when a game is slow. If you're playing like a story-based game, such as Cyberpunk, where there's not really much skill involved in Cyberpunk.
Take it out.
You can say yes, there is, but realistically there isn't. With things like auto aim and all that, and you've got the health shields and all that kind of stuff, you can play it quite happily on a controller, which doesn't give you a particularly great amount of accuracy. So any game which plays easily on a gamepad is generally going to look nice with RTX on. So things like, again, Cyberpunk, racing games, driving games are the ones going to benefit from ray tracing because they're going to look pretty. Because driving games, generally, you got the horizon is relatively fixed until you're moving around, so light shadows, refraction, all that kind of stuff, possibly is going to look nicer. But does it improve your game? I don't think it does. Just makes it slower. Finally says, do you think my RX 460 is bottlenecking my 3700X because I'm not getting 60 FPS at 1080p? Yes. 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 Definitely. Many times. Grand Reaper says, if I put 256, I'm guessing gigabytes of RAM into my 1660 Super AMD Ryzen, what would happen to my PC? I don't know. I don't think that's even possible. Yes, that is definitely, even with something like CSGO, which isn't particularly demanding, the RX 460 is going to bottleneck the bejesus out of the 3700X. Actually, CSGO is probably a bad example because that's quite CPU intensive, but it still does need a graphics card to be able to kind of follow along. But yes, that is going to bottleneck a lot.
Jax Teller's here.
Jax Teller! I haven't seen Jax for a while. Well, hello. How have you all been? Keeping well? Sorry I haven't been around. That's all right. We've missed you. We've missed you, Jax. Hayden Trent says, play some 1999 games, it won't bottleneck. This is true. Right, it is currently 4 minutes past 11, so we've gone over our usual 2-hour allotted time. So I think that's going to wrap things up. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Hopefully you've genuinely learned something. I feel that I have. It was one of those things, it was one of the questions that I just wanted to answer. For myself personally and for other people that have asked the question, because I kind of fudged it. When people have said, can I do this, or will it kill my board? I've kind of said, well, possibly it might. I haven't given a definitive answer. So at least now, when people ask the question, what happens if I get a power cut when I'm doing my BIOS flash, I can say, quite happily, if it's an MSI board, there's a very, very strong chance that you'll be able to recover it. So stay tuned for the follow-ups for Gigabyte, Asus, ASRock, BioStar, possibly, maybe. Who else is there? Gigabyte, Asus, BioStar, MSI. Who am I missing out? Am I missing out anyone?
No, they don't.
ASRock, Asus, Gigabyte, BioStar, MSI. That's it, isn't it? 5. That can't be it. It is. I'm losing my mind. I really am losing my mind. Anyway, so we will do a very quick update on this video. I'll probably post it in a couple of days' time, just a quick kind of like a public service announcement saying what we've done, referring to this video. So if you see it in your feed, just click on the like button and leave it playing in the background because you've probably seen it all anyway. But yeah, thank you all so much. Thanks for the super chats, as always. Thank you all for sticking with us. Don't forget, before you go, smash the like button. And if you haven't already, obviously click on the subscribe button and the chime icon. I hate to say it, but it's one of those things that the videos don't always get sent out on feeds, or maybe they're doing it, it's just crap content, so you don't watch it, I don't know. Could be either, I guess. It happens. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for all of your interaction. And hopefully we'll see you next Saturday. Same time, 9 o'clock next Saturday. If there's any comments or questions, don't forget you can watch the replay of this. Leave your comments and questions there and I'll try and get around to answer them as soon as I can. Yeah, hopefully we've learned something as a community tonight. So thank you all for watching, and I better click on the end stream button. Where is the end stream button? There we go. Your stream will stop immediately, it will no longer be live. Well, that is the plan. So thanks everyone, we will catch you in the next one. Good night.